Hello, everybody, and welcome to Move the Needle. We are just getting started this evening. Full screen mode. Here we are. This is, just to be formal about the thing, Move the Needle, Tools for White Women, Femmes, and Thems, Voting Blue and Red Communities. And we are here every Sunday until the week after the election, 8:30 p.m. Eastern and 5:30 p.m. Pacific.
Specific.
What did I say?
You did it right. I messed you up.
I am one of your hosts, Patricia Berry, and is this where I tell who I am?
Yes, this is where you tell us who you are.
I apologize. It's apparently been a week since I've done this, and now I can't remember anything. I am a white, cis, straight woman, a salty Buddhist, and a person who has a business coaching people how to fundraise in anti-racist ways. And I am a partner of a white cis male. And that's important because he comes into a lot of our conversations a lot as we talk about having hard conversations with people that we love.
And I am Jessica A.S. Litaw. Most people call me Jess. I am a white cis queer woman, originally from Atlanta, now live in Michigan. I am a housing and racial justice organizer. Last week, it felt important to me to say that I am an oldest daughter. That still feels important in this space. And we're still a couple of months away from Capricorn season, which is not a thing like Libra season is because we're too busy in our basement organizing. But like, I am looking forward to that.
Our whys for doing this shenanigan is I have spent a lifetime not getting the connection that I really, really want with people that I love. I grew up in Boise, Idaho, among white people who did not talk about their feelings, nor did they talk about racism, and rarely had difficult discussions, if ever. And I've spent pretty much the last half of my career really wanting to build the capacity to have brave conversations with people that we love, because the people that I do that with, like beautiful Jess and Truly, and now Hillary, welcome Hillary, just makes my life so much better.
For me, as soon as Kamala declared her desire to be the Democratic nominee for president, I felt like my white woman soul called out of my body, and like I needed to be in this campaign in a very particular way with this section of identities, in part because, and we'll talk a little bit more about this in a moment, but white women are a huge voting bloc in the United States, and our turnout for Trump keeps increasing. So I'm thinking a lot about us, especially in swing communities, especially those of us who are blue dots and red communities. Those of us in these marginal communities in the swing states have the most opportunity to actually change the outcome of the election, but that's really hard because it's not TV ads, it's not all the ads flooding your games and your music and whatever, and all of the texts that you're getting. That's not what changes people's minds. It's the kitchen table conversations. So I want us as a community, everybody in this virtual room, everybody that we're in community with, to change white women's voting behaviors in those swing communities, because the Electoral College, we know that this is going to come down, the vote is going to come down to about 6% of the electorate. Every conversation we have matters. So that's why I'm here. If you are wondering if you are in the right place, the answer is yes, I'm pleased to tell you. This content is specifically designed for white women, femmes, and thems. If this isn't you, but you'd still like to attend, you'd like to learn more, potentially bring these learnings back to white women, friends, and family, you are entirely welcome here, and we're delighted that you're with us. White women, as I mentioned, are America's largest voting bloc. That is something new that I learned this year, and it feels like a tremendous responsibility. We are absolutely not a monolith. You know, we're diverse in class, we're diverse in geography, we're diverse in background. But because we are the largest voting bloc, and again, trending upwards in votes for Trump, we have an opportunity to change the outcome of the election, because women tend to engage in the most effective change behaviors, which is in person-to-person conversations. One of the difficulties is women are also uniquely often sort of hobbled from being able to genuinely engage in conflict, especially in the relationships that are closest to us. There's an activist I know who says that it's easier to have hard conversations with a mailman than it is with her mom. And that totally resonates. And so we're here to help build those muscles, build those tools, and hopefully have y'all share stories, pain points, and ideas among you, because we're not here as experts, we're here as learners right along with you.
So for each of these conversations, and truthfully, most of the interactions that Jess and I have designed with ourselves over the years, we usually have working agreements. And so we try to begin conversations and meetings always reminding ourselves about these working agreements, and it really centers us in a conversation. So for this conversation, for this series, these are our working agreements.
The first one is that in this space, we put aside the right to and the expectation of comfort, because we as white women do not have the right to comfort in this learning. The world that we're trying to address is not safe. The vulnerable people that we're trying to be in co-liberation and solidarity with are not safe. So this is not a safe space, but it is a brave space. We hope that we are moving in courageous solidarity together. So we invite our courage, our shared mutual courage, and our loving accountability.
We also resist binary thinking. Things that are complicated have context, and they change from who is in the conversation to where the conversation is happening and what the power dynamic is in the conversation. So thinking of right or wrong as a binary is really not helpful to the work that we're doing, but being curious and in between.
In this space, and hopefully out in the world, especially over the course of this conversation series, we welcome generative conflict, because we know that in dominant American culture, in the Midwest, where a bunch of us are, in the South, where I'm from, as women, we are often rewarded for being nice instead of being real, and for being conciliatory instead of leaning into necessary disagreement. So here, I would like to invite us to allow a lot of emotional space to be in conflict with each other, with the ideas being presented, and even with ourselves. Let's love each other enough to tell the truth and hold up mirrors that need holding up, because we know that kindness and honesty are not mutually exclusive.
And finally, we ask for the speed that we need. This is not about comfort, but about listening deeply and processing and reflecting rather than just trying to think about the smartest response. I have found as an external processor, this asking for the speed that we need has allowed me to take a breath and to check into a conversation in a way that I haven't been able to before. So asking for the speed that we need is really about being kind to ourselves and thinking reflectively.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much, Jess and Patricia. I'm Truly. This is Cheese
And what's
the
your
cat.
cat's name?
This is Cheese. I told Hillary in the private chat that he's a Republican, but we'll forgive him.
Few more
Hi,
conversations. You got this.
We're having loving conversations. Yeah, he's feeling pretty bossy, so I think he's going to join us tonight. Hello, everybody. I'm Truly. I'm your chat facilitator today. I'm a community member who is interested in conversations that bring together policy, politics, and humanity. And Patricia and Jess have been doing such an incredible job around that. So it's really an honor to be here with you and and cheese tonight to explore that further. I'm a white woman. I am a cis woman. I'm a mom. I feel called to this work for a lot of reasons. I'm trying to lead a life where my networks and my work in all capacities is really centered around equity. And I think this election in particular is an opportunity to express that. It's not where the work starts or stops, but it is an opportunity to have those conversations and continue that work there. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about our capacities here on Zoom today. If you're new to Zoom, you have a closed caption option for yourself. If you go to the bottom of your screen, you'll see something that says CC. That is for you to make use of that service if that's of interest. Also, if you'd like to chat, we love it. I love it when I see comments there. And I want to tell you all, those of you who have been with us before, you'll know Jess and Patricia do a great job of thoughtfully creating these programs. This is not like boxed. This is in response to things that are discussed in the chat. So please do chat. And if you'd like to, you can note that there is a toggle that says everyone, and that's you talking to this community of folks learning together. Or if you'd like to just chat to the hosts and panelists, that will just go to us privately, and I will make sure to lift up your inquiry in an anonymous way so that we can all benefit from the discussion while you won't have to disclose a thing about yourself personally. So with that, I'm going to say our agreements about the chat are on the screen. We're going to keep comments on topic. We're going to keep the conversation respectful. And if there's other things that you'd like to add and we can consider for future, please do add them in the chat. Thanks,
Truly,
everyone.
will you also let everybody know how to turn on closed captioning?
I
She did.
did,
Oh,
but
you did?
yes.
Oh, that was
Again.
me not listening.
Patricia, if you need it, CC
Our second
at the bottom of the
conversation was
screen.
about deep listening.
It's fine. Patricia, I'm glad you asked, because if anyone needs a reminder, it's at the bottom of the screen. It's a cool feature.
If anybody like me had checked out for just a minute.
You're totally great.
Jess, bring us into this space. I promise to listen.
In this spot, I usually talk about this political and historic moment. I've talked about Hurricane Helene, the debates, different things that have come out of the campaigns. But today I'd like to talk about you and talk about us. We are getting so close to election day, you guys. We are 23 days out, I think. And so it's really important that you check your voter registration. Make sure you are checking on the voter registration of the folks around you, people in your family. I don't necessarily want to say coworkers, because not everybody really enjoys digging into politics with their coworkers the way some of us do. But folks in your like social network that you feel comfortable talking about this with, just ask them if they've checked their voter registration. We know in the last few months that many states have purged literally millions of people from the voter rolls, trying to streamline the voter rolls ostensibly by removing dead folks and folks that have moved out of state, but that does end up impacting active voters as well. So making sure you check your voter registration well in advance of when you intend to vote, and making sure that you know your voting plan and the voting plan of the people around you. So Patricia and Truly, I'm going to put you on the spot and ask you what your voting plan is. I filled out my absentee ballot this afternoon, and I'm going to stick it in the mail tomorrow because it's a little rainy and I don't want it to get wet. But I am in Michigan and we can vote absentee starting a few weeks ago. So I'm mailing mine in. I'm going to get a cool sticker mailed back because of it.
I always vote in person. I have only occasionally voted via mail ahead of time, because we have a really small, tight-knit community where I vote in Ypsilanti, Michigan. And I run into people that I haven't seen except for the last voting line. So it is a place to share snacks and stories, and it is a community gathering spot that I find very lovely. So I do try to vote in person whenever I can, but plan ahead when I am not going to be in town to vote by mail.
What about you, Miss
My
Truly?
ballot, yeah, my ballot's in. I submitted my early voting opportunity. We have absentee voting as a for any reason here in Michigan. So I submitted mine and, made sure to promote that action on Instagram and really remind people to check your voter registration because this is, it's quite an action that's happened that has removed people, purged people from the polls. And please check because that's not a surprise you want to have this November.
Some states have a certain amount of time that they require between your voter registration and actually putting in a vote. Michigan, you can register to vote on the same day, but that's not true in a lot of places. So truly is having a sense of urgency, which I appreciate because I think we should all share it, about checking your voter registration status and those of the folks around you early and often to make sure that you're still there and able to vote whenever and however you decide to cast your vote.
Can I add something just real quick,
Please.
briefly? I work on a college campus, and I am part of a webmaster group that receives inquiries from folks who are experiencing difficulties voting. And of course, it's college campus, lots of first-time voters, and we are hearing from people who have been removed from the rolls because they voted absentee too many times. So the reasons that are because of course they're going to school out of state, right? Or they're going to school out of their district. So the reasons are very surprising.
Random.
And that is yeah, it feels not great. So please do check.
Jess is just putting in the chat where you can go and check your registration.
Yeah. And probably something Taylor Swift. Yes. I love that. Yes. For those on the recording, vote.gov, vote.org, whenweallvote.org, and probably something Taylor Swift is what Jess has got in the chat.
All right. Are we ready to go?
I'm so ready to go, y'all.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about where we've been, and you can catch us. You can catch up on YouTube. I've heard from a couple people that have joined us that they have been lovely enough to go and look at our previous conversations, which is really, we tried to build a really good foundation to get into hard conversations. So we talked about boundaries, loving agreements, deep listening, which Patricia obviously didn't take the full thing into herself today. How stories move the needle, politics at the barbecue, and how to talk to Uncle Clive at the barbecue, apathetic and protest voters, misogynoir, and the first part of navigating comfort and safety, where we kind of did a lot of definitions, which brings us to today, which is asking and answering the question, am I safe or courageously uncomfortable? And it's about integrating the body's wisdom into the work that we're doing and having difficult conversations with people that we love.
One of the questions that keeps coming up in chat, in Move the Needle conversations, in Patricia and Truly's and my conversations is, how do I know? How do I know when I'm unsafe or when I'm the kind of uncomfortable that I need to lean in? Patricia said something recently that I thought was so canny. She said, I am a deep believer in relying on and trusting your intuition, but when it comes to whiteness, I don't necessarily know what I'm supposed to trust and what I'm not supposed to trust. So I wanted to talk a little bit about what our body feels has to do with engaging politics before we introduce our very special guest and have a very fun conversation. So I'm going to enlist Tawana Petty. She is, in her words, a mother, a social justice organizer, a poet, author, and facilitator, and her work focuses on racial justice, equity, privacy, and consent. While she is a scholar, an activist, and a speaker, she is a poet and she moves through life like a poet. If you look through any of Tawana's work, it is lyrical, and I think that this is one example of that. She's drawn this framework, which the Move the Needle team find really compelling, of pushing ourselves past solidarity, past allyship, into complicity in breaking harmful systems and practices, and operating in full co-liberation with all our sisters, regardless of race, class, ability, or any other social and frankly manufactured divisions. But Moving up that ladder into full solidarity and co-liberation requires a different kind of labor from us. It can't just be intellectual. We can't book club our way through this. Regretfully, I've tried. We cannot, salon conversations our way through this. We cannot think our way out of the toxic systems and the relationship disconnects that we have. We have to work to heal ourselves, because white folks, white women, are poisoned by white supremacist systems too. Our anxieties that a lot of us have around perfectionism, around not messing up in our relationships or in front of people, thinking there is only one right way to do things, and on and on and on. These myths that we have about the perils of imperfection and how it will permanently damage our personal or our working relationships, or mean that we are inherently bad people. I just want to pause and emphasize that these are all lies. These are myths, and they have caused us wounds that we all have to heal from. So this has everything to do with politics, because frequently the folks most willing to be in the room arguing about elections and policies are the ones with the thickest skin, but not necessarily the ones with the most skin in the game. So the more of us that can get in that arena, the more our policies and our electeds truly reflect who we are and what we want.
I'm going to do a little breathing exercise really quick. Just to center ourselves, because this is a conversation that is tender. And I want to make sure that we're really caring for ourselves. So as we go through this conversation, check in with your body, see how you're feeling, and take the wisdom from your body. But just to get us started, we're going to just take 3 deep breaths. Before we begin, put your hand on a part of your body that feels like it needs some attention. Maybe it's a place that's a little tight. Maybe it's where you fear from speaking from. Just hold it with tenderness and breathe all the way in, down to your diaphragm and out through your nose. As you take a second breath, just imagine blowing out some of the cares from your day and just sending them out, maybe into another room, just letting them float away. Take another deep breath. Focus on the part of your body that your hand is holding. And imagine giving it a little extra love. And take one more breath. Just do a little sweep of your body. Is there any place that feels cold? Maybe too warm, or that you need to stretch or wiggle? Just tune in with your body and give it a little care. And on the final breath in, go all the way into your diaphragm, lower belly. And then out, and just feel the expansion of creating that space. And when you're ready, open your eyes.
And for context, we do that exercise every time before we open the Move the Needle room. The 3 of us, and now 4 of us, find it really grounding.
We're going to welcome our special guest star.
I don't know if she's a guest star anymore. I think she's just the 4th witch now.
Yeah, I think she's been absorbed. She's
Yeah.
been absorbed into the pack. Jess, do you want to do the introduction and kick Hillary off?
I'm happy to. Please, you guys, join us in welcoming Hillary Baldwin Steller. She's a social worker, she's a somatic experiencing practitioner, and as Patricia says, a general somatic wisdom badass. Hillary and I have worked together before in different capacities, and when we knew that we were moving into comfort and safety, first of all, we knew we were going to need to enlist the body, and second of all, truly was like, you know what, we could model bringing in community and also model knowing that we are not experts in this work. So we reached out to Hillary, warmly invited her, and she was as excited as we were at joining the conversation.
Thank you. Thank you.
Is there
Hi.
anything we missed, Hillary, in introducing you?
No, that's a lot. I feel like I need a hat. I need a hat. But okay. No, it feels great. I'm happy to be here. So I have been thinking about why this is important to me to be part of this. And the thing that keeps coming up is the word community. I love the word community. And I am very aware that in order to heal, we need to heal in connection. And I feel like one of the things that's happening in this election season is the connection is being really taken out of the conversation. So that is why I'm here, is to help put the connection back in the conversation.
Well, welcome, Hillary. We have just had so much fun, as well as I've used a number of the things that we've learned in our conversations with you to the run up to the show already in my general life. I've been wandering around in somatics probably for 3 or 4 years, maybe a little bit longer. And the way that I always define it is it's just really tapping into the wisdom of the body and getting more connected to that inner wisdom that you don't yet have words for, to try and kind of find it.
Yes.
And so that's a layperson's kind of definition of somatics. How do you define somatics? And
so to be a little geeky,
please. Oh, because we don't like that at all.
Yeah, well, it seemed appropriate. The word soma, right, is body in Greek. So it is actually what's happening in your body. And somatic experiencing, the work that I do is about noticing what your body has taken in I'm going to use the word traumatic experiences, but it's really important to notice that, like, getting your credit card declined at the grocery store is a traumatic experience. I'm not talking about a car accident. I'm not talking about some horrible event. It doesn't have to be a big, giant thing that's going to make the newspapers. It can just be, wow, I feel really uncomfortable, right? So keeping that in mind. And so when we talk about somatic experiencing, we talk about how your body interpreted those events. And we all have events like that have happened to us. And often not of any of our own accord, right? So one of the helpful examples, I think, is to think about babies who are born super early, premature. When they grow up, they tend to hunch, like this is just a thing.
Because
right?
they're protecting themselves?
Yeah, they're still protecting.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, they might grow up fine, but you will notice that they are always sort of hunched over because they're still in that mode of protection. What ends up happening, right, is they become, because we are all basically still animals, they become the target of other people, right? Because they look less powerful. They're all hunched over. And so then you can imagine as they go through life, right, they become the target of the bullies, they become the target of whatever, right? Whoever's happening, they are going to end up getting less because they look an easy target. So these are just things that, so when they come into my office, the first thing we do is we just notice, what does it feel like to be hunched over? Because if the first thing we do is go, hey, go like this, that is terrifying, right? Their whole nervous system lights up like, what did you just do, right? So we have to work on, what does it feel like to be hunched over, and what happens if we just come up a little bit, and what does that feel? And can you imagine your body coming up a little bit more?
I mean, I could imagine having a conversation with Uncle Clive and being scared, because I have found myself doing that, and Zoom is an awful mirror to go into meetings in, because suddenly I realize what I do. So it's almost like, if we're thinking about having these difficult conversations, is there a way to be both relaxed and open from a somatic somatic perspective, right?
Yes, right. And so noticing that if you're talking to somebody who is already hunched over, you can take in, oh, you're not ready to hear this big thing. Let's start smaller, right? Let's go back to the conversation. I can't remember what episode, but the stories, right? Let's just start with a story that's going to be kind of soft.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love that. Okay. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
You know, after a lot, and sorry to interrupt you, I'll pause in just a second, but after some conversations with you, I started looking at people as like nervous systems walking around the world. And in my mind, it's basically a spine with a feelings aura around it. And this is just, I guess it's appropriate for Halloween.
Yes,
But
right.
I think about us as we are healing or we're not. And I know that it's not a binary, but I feel like when I look at people like that, I sort of understand, like, is there receptiveness there? Is there a humility and an openness to learning and to being changed by the world and by comfort, or not? Like, shut down, closed off, either in general or with specific people. That has been so interesting. I think I was shut off from paying attention to my own body for so long that I wasn't paying attention to other people's body language at all. And it turns out when you look at people, there's a lot of information there, like helpful, useful information that helps me connect. Like, who
Right.
knew? Who
Yeah,
knew?
right. So when Uncle Clive goes like this, you're like, okay, we're done.
Let's go get some more potato salad.
Yeah. He's always eating potatoes.
Yes.
So yeah, I think it's important to notice what's happening in our body, because there's also this thing called the resonant field where our stuff is pinging back and forth with their stuff. And so paying attention to that, just sort of, because the amazing thing that happens in this resonant field is if I just stop talking and I relax my shoulders and I start talking in my lower, calmer voice, everybody will join me in this. And I didn't say, hey, calm down and take a breath, because somebody,
But you gave the example of calm down. I'm calming down and I'm taking a breath.
Right. So let's just, right? If I don't have to say it, I can just do it. It's that whole thing kindergarten teachers do where they start whispering to get the kids to quiet down, right? It works. That's why it works, because everybody wants to know.
And I don't know if this is me being a closeted empath, but I feel
You're not closeted anymore.
I'm not closeted. I'm out.
You blew it.
I'm out. But one thing I really feel like is that emotions are a virus. Like you catch them really, at least I catch them really easily. And if I am not aware that I'm catching somebody else's emotion, I sometimes misunderstand and think it's mine.
Yes.
And the paying attention to my body as well as somebody else's body actually is a way I believe that I could start to think about whose is this? Who's giving me this?
It's so important to notice what's mine and what's theirs, because if you're not in your own regulated body, then the things you're going to start talking about are not coming from a regulated place. So you're defensive, you're angry, you're hurt, you're disappointed, right? And then
this is rude to be seeing me so clearly, by the way. This is just rude.
Stop targeting her.
Sorry. Now I totally lost my focus.
I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
It was a wonderful. I'm sorry.
We're taking a little breath, Hillary.
When we don't come from a centered place,
yes,
we're talking from a place of kind of reactivity and kind of shut off. Is that what I'm understanding?
Yes.
Okay.
I think so. And so I think it's important to practice, right? And sometimes it's hard to practice because you're sitting across from Uncle Clive and he already thinks you're a weird, nutty liberal. So, right. So you've got to sort of noticing, where is your breath? And can you actually, I do this thing with clients where you find your breath, you sort of put your hand, you guys can't see, I don't know if you can see my hand on Zoom, but right, you put your hand wherever your breath goes to. So if you take a deep breath in and then put your hand at that level, and then take another deep breath and see if you can actually get your hand to go down so that you can take a deep breath farther, like a deeper breath, right? And, you might not need your hand if Uncle Clive is going to call you weirdo, but you can sort of focus on
But I mean, you can do that kind of secretly,
it.
right?
Yeah, right.
It's not like we're gonna, suddenly have a little moment in front of Uncle Clive
Right.
and he's like, what, are we gonna hug a tree
Yeah.
now?
Right. Yeah, right.
So I
But
want
you could
Mhm.
just, behind the potato salad, as you're having this
Yes.
conversation with Uncle Clive, remind yourself physically to breathe.
Yeah.
And
Another
then
really,
go ahead,
Yeah.
Hillary.
another really great one that's super easy is if everybody, right, thinks about something stressful and then just push your feet into the floor as hard as you can.
Oh,
Just
that's
push them into-
interesting.
Oh, this is a
forgot.
fun one.
Yeah, you forgot what was stressful, right? So when Uncle Clive is, I have this picture of him. He's not a very gentle eater.
It's not a gentle eater.
Anyway, but you could do that and he doesn't have any idea. So that's
Right.
Mhm.
Right.
okay. Sorry,
So
Jess.
no, it's fine. I'm just making sure that I'm tracking. So we're centering. We're making sure that we're regulated inside our body. And am I understanding that part of what this is doing is building resilience? So when we wade into these conversations, I was going to say a lot of this, but I'll just say me. It is so hard not to shut down immediately and like not even in conversation, but just flee.
Yeah.
And I've really had to build up a capacity to be able to stay in difficult conversations with people, not necessarily because I'm there to change their mind, but because I'm there to work through disagreement and conflict. And I know we're going to be in relationship in some way on the other side, even if we're just community members, even if we're just neighbors. So I'm just trying to make sure I understand what this is doing for us, especially in like the comfort and safety framework. Can you help me understand that a little bit?
That's exactly right. If you think about it, like eating spicy food, right? If you eat, if you can't eat super spicy food, you can work your way up to it, right? You can have more and
Interesting.
more spicy food and it becomes more and more tolerable, right? Almost enjoyable to some,
Mhm.
right? But I think, so this is the same thing, right? Noticing what is dysregulating about this conversation. Okay, maybe I need to step away and think about that because there was probably a somatic hint that came up beforehand. Your breath stopped, right? You couldn't hear as well,
Mm-hmm.
right? You had
My
suddenly
eyes get fuzzy sometimes.
right? You get fuzzy. Something just kind of is like, what? Right? You lost your place, whatever it is. There was a clue that you're starting to get dysregulated. So paying attention to when that happens and stopping before you have totally checked out, before you've been like, whatever, I'm leaving, right? I'm going to start eating potato salad, whatever it is, whatever sent you off the edge, you want to notice where did that start?
Mm-hmm.
And if you can catch where it started, then you can walk away and come back in a little bit and try again, and then walk away and come back. Because that is really the key, is the titration, right? That's what somatic experiencing is all about. Like, hey, right, when we work with that person who's all hunched over, like, let's move up a little bit. Okay, let's go back to hunching because hunching feels safe. And then we're going to come back a little bit. So you're going to do that same piece where you're like, okay, I'm going to try this conversation. Oh, I'm going to walk away. I'm going to come back with a different idea, right? And it's just and you just kind of figure out what feels most comfortable. And the truth is, if there's already connection and relationship, then they're going to appreciate that, right? That you didn't blow up the dinner table.
I do have a question in this.
Mhm.
Is the indicator in your body? So I love that this reminds us that our body is a part of this conversation. I have a tendency to be right up here. And then I don't notice that I'm doing this until Jess is like, where are you hunched over? And, I don't have, not all of my friendships would tell me I'm noticing something in your body and it seems like you're struggling with something. But so the point of my question is, I get it right here. Like when I get it right in my chest, like anybody who's seen me try to calm myself down in a conversation, you'll see me do this. It's a version of clutching my pearls, but it's really something about keeping my heart in my body and kind of like calming that regulation down. Is that true for everybody? And does the place that it shows up in your body indicate what it is, right? So my
Ooh, good
struggle
question.
is,
That's so interesting.
my struggle is, how do I know? I don't want to discount my intuition,
Mhm.
but I don't want to misunderstand my internalized white supremacy
Mhm.
as intuition. Does that make sense?
Totally.
That I want to know what the difference is, and how do I do that? That's really like what it's the
your
big
core
struggle
question. It is.
in this conversation.
So you, like most everybody else, really hate the answer because
Awesome.
the
You
answer
suck,
is
Hillary. That's it. How do I turn her off?
God. The answer is slow down,
Okay.
right? And check it.
Ask for the speed you need. Oh my.
Brilliant.
Oh, Jess
Amazing.
is like, oh, I won this Zoom. This Zoom, I'm a winner.
We'll bet.
I forced Patricia to say that value every day.
I'm sorry, Hillary. Please go ahead.
That's okay. So I understand the joy that just came there.
Yeah.
Right. So slowing down and checking in. There are some consistencies, like often if there's something in our throat, it's because we have words we didn't say, right?
Oh,
Or
okay.
we feel, right?
That's truly.
There's some rule, right, that we learned, whether the rule came from white supremacy or the rule came from our parents or both or neither, whatever. That's often, there's words there, right? And that might mean there's like sitting with it and wondering what, and being curious, right? The key is curiosity and slowing down. Those are the two pieces that I think could freaking heal the world, actually, if we could just slow down and be curious instead of, blah, blah, blah. Okay, focusing, coming back. So I think if it's in your chest,
Yeah.
it's usually some sort of anxiety. And it's hard to tell if it's anxiety about, I don't feel safe now, or anxiety,
Right.
I'm uncomfortable, right? Because your body reads them the same, because your
Mhm.
nervous system, right? It's back with our early development, literally, like evolutionarily.
Mhm.
Do we have time to go into this?
Yes, please. Yes,
Yeah,
we
we're
actually
actually
do.
doing
Yes.
very well on time, Hillary.
Okay. So what happens when we are frightened, even if it means we're walking alone and we trip over a twig, our body has the feeling, our nervous system specifically thinks, oh my gosh, we are the baby impala and the cheetah is going to eat us, right? And it doesn't matter if it could be anything from, I got hit by a car, from I was by myself walking in the woods and I tripped and I caught myself, right? It doesn't matter. Our nervous system goes, holy cow, you're going to be eaten. And when you think that, the rest of your system follows through. And we all think, or we have been trained in this current world, that our brain thinks about it first.
Okay.
Right? Our brain doesn't think about it first. When you grab a hot pot
first. Yeah.
Right? Your brain doesn't go, ooh, that's a hot pot, I gotta take my hand away, because by then you'd have terrible burns. Your body goes, get off of there. And then you go, oh, that pot's hot. Right?
Your body is the first thing to go, ouch.
Yes. Because the body, without getting too geeky and neuron and like brain sciencey, but your pain neurons, your nervous system neurons essentially move at 80 miles an hour. Your brain synaptic connections move at 4.
Okay.
So your brain,
that's a mic drop, done with the night moment. Holy cow.
That's it. So
okay, now I got scared, right? I'm sitting across from Uncle
Clyde. You're scared. You're the baby impala. The cheetah's coming. If you don't stop and support your nervous system to say, I'm okay. You could even look around like, hey, there's no cheetahs here. I'm okay. Right?
One of my favorite ones is to look out the window, because I stubbed my toe yesterday and my world ended for a second. And that's not even an exaggeration. And I looked out the window and it was raining, it was fall, and it was overcast. And then my toe hurt, but the world didn't end.
That's right. So that's perfect. That's exactly what we're talking about, right? Slowing down and noticing, I'm not gonna die. even from a toe stubbing, which is just one of the most worst things. But anyway, up there with paper cuts. But anyway, so if we don't do that, our system doesn't reset. And our system is designed to reset. It is actually designed to reset, right? We all have an experience, especially in Michigan, where a deer has run out in front of the car, you've slammed on the brakes, you stopped, you're out of breath, right? Your heart rate goes up, all the things, all the blood rushes to your inner body. Actually, all the blood rushes out to your limbs and then to your inner body. But anyway, blah, 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 blah. The whole thing is that you have to let your system reset. And we're designed to do that. If you don't let your body reset, it sort of stacks on top of each other. And you end up starting to feel like you are always frightened, right? Because your system never got to relax,
relatable.
Right? Your system never got to know it's okay. And lots of us grew up in homes where that happened, where we didn't have the time to stop, right? So then when that happens, when your system gets set off so much, after a while, your system just says, never mind, I'm not going to bother resetting. I'm just going to stay on hyper alert, right? And you end up super anxious, or
And
your
a
body
heart
says,
attack.
never mind. Right, exactly. Or your body says, never mind, I'm going to check out, and you end up depressed. And that's, right, that's the window of tolerance, which I could go on and on. So I'm going to, I feel like we need to stop.
Well, this just made me think of like one thing that I got a wonderful, when I was a grown ass woman, I moved to Michigan from New York City. And so you can just imagine.
I have done the same thing.
And I had a really hard time because I was like coming in with my New York space, and like, it was like I was speaking a different language, even though I was here in Michigan. It's like people were like, ugh. And they were giving me a lot of feedback. And, you know, this is, of course, very sexist, whatever.
Yeah.
But I had a beautiful coach who kind of saved my life through a number of things. But the tool that she gave me is she said, I'm going to just name that every time I give you a piece of feedback, you fight me. She said, here's what I would like you to try to do is to imagine when you receive whatever the feedback is, imagine picking up a pen and holding a writing pen and just holding it in your hand so that you shut up and just accept what I've said. You don't have to agree with me, but like, why do you immediately start fighting? And one of the things that, you know, it occurs to me with that somatic breath, right? That when I'm engaged with a conversation with Uncle Clive at the barbecue and it's starting to get hot, right? And he's maybe criticizing me because I am the bleeding heart liberal that's kind of making him mad. And, you know, taking that breath is like taking that pen. Like, I don't have to agree with you, and I also don't have to fight with you.
Yes.
I just have to be present and reset my mind. I have to calm down my nervous system so that my mind can catch up and process. So if there was one tool that I could use, because obviously I'm not going to have a writing pen in front of Uncle Clive.
We're going to get to tools in just a
sorry.
second. No, it's totally fine. It was a beautiful lead in, and I'm sorry to interrupt it, but Truly has a thing, and I have a thing, and Hillary has a thing, whether she knows it or not. And then we're going to do tools.
Okay,
This
great.
is brief, but I think it does wrap around some things that are popping up in the comments as everyone is so generously sharing the ways that discomfort sits in their body. And certainly something mine feels in my throat. Hillary, I always have words to say. It's a real thing. We live, it's yes, I love this like biological factor that you're bringing up where that saved our ass so many times, right? Coming out of the cave. But we live in this culture of like immediacy and sound bites and professional polish and culture wars that want just to chomp your head off right in the here and now. So I think that acknowledging that for me, I just want to share with the group and saying that's a reality too. Like, yes, our ancestors and also kind of weirdly now, acknowledging that is helpful for me. Like, I am not a talking head. This is not a radio show. I am not on a podcast. We are just the two of us.
Mhm.
Right. So sometimes just mentally flagging that for me is helpful in calming this down. I don't have to say the smartest, cutest, brightest, whip smartiest thing. I can
That's
say,
right.
what you said really surprised me. Can I sit with that for a minute? I can
Mhm.
build in a little minute for myself. And you can
Excellent.
too.
Which is the slowing down. It's
Mhm.
awesome.
So my thing is to tee you up, Hillary, because I wanted to talk for just a second, and I'm mindful of time, and we are going to have time to talk about the exercises. Folks, be thinking about if you have any questions for Hillary while we've got her. We've got time for that too before we start to wrap up. But Hillary, one of the things that we talked about leading into this conversation is why? Why are we so disconnected from our nervous systems? And I think that culturally we all are. But what I'm asking for is women. Like, why are we so disconnected from our bodies when I think naturally and even culturally we are encouraged to connect with our intuition, but we're so disconnected from the physical cues of those? Why? Why?
So I am slightly biased. I will just say,
But you're the one with the microphone, so go for
but
it.
I'm the one with the microphone. So,
I like a lady with opinions.
that's right. So I really believe as a society, we're encouraged, like there's age changes, right? As to what we're allowed to do. And like when we're pregnant, we're supposed to be okay with people walking over and touching us. That's supposed to be totally okay, right? And we should just ignore the intuition that's like, hey, this is still mine, even if I have another person in me, right?
Mhm.
When we have a baby, the expectation is that we're going to care for this thing in a perfect way,
Mhm.
right? But there's lots of feedback about how, yeah, but you should really bottle feed and you should really have sex with your husband as soon as you can, and or your partner, whoever it is. You should really, you should do all these things that makes our bodies not ours again. Right. And we already feel like it's pretty much not ours. I had a niece who, when she was breastfeeding, said, I just feel like I have ham sandwiches on my chest. Like she just was like, right.
I had a friend who told me it was like being pecked to death by chickens.
That's right. Like, yeah, I don't know. Do you guys know the Barbarella scene where she gets tried to attack by birds? Anyway, that's, yes. So anyway, so I think what happens is there's all these different times where it changes back and forth when we're right. Like, I feel like there's a whole piece about when we're being courted, there's like rules about how we're supposed to look a certain way, right? And we're supposed to be pleasing. We're supposed to be
the
all
body is an
things.
aesthetic object. Yeah.
Yes, it's all aesthetic and right. And we should really be more, it's really his nervous system is more important than our nervous system. That certainly happens like once you're in a serious coupled relationship and like you have, and like there's no problem that I'm going to work and I'm going to take care of the children and I'm going to make dinner. And you're a fucking hero because you did the dishes, right? This is where my bias comes in.
So well, you're talking about in interpersonal relationships, but this is true culturally, right? And you've talked about this before, that it's sort of the job of women's nervous systems to be aware of men's nervous systems, like to clock the emotion, to clock the energy, to clock the, it is a safety issue. Yeah. But that's a part of the disconnect too, right? Is that the labor that we're stewarding is not this direction, it's that direction.
Yes.
Once we named that in our setup conversations, I was like telling my beloved Chris, I was like, I can't unsee that. And we're going to have to make some changes.
Yes. Yes. Right. And I think it's very cultural, but I also think I know of very few cultures that don't do it that way. Right. Yeah. So how do we help that? Right.
Yes.
Exactly. Like you said, Patricia,
tools.
We talk about it and we say, hey, I do the dishes all the time. Right. And we have that conversation, however we have to. Should we talk about tools?
Yes. Now is a great time for tools. Thank you.
So I'm sitting across from Uncle Clive. I have been activated because he has just said something so horrific I don't know how to respond.
So you're going to take a minute and you're going to, because you're
But tell me
Jessica,
how to take that minute without looking like a total freak.
But like, what if you do?
What if you do? Like, there's always the just naming the thing. Like,
Right.
wow, Uncle Clive, that made me uncomfortable. Right.
Well, Truly said that, right? You know, it's
Yeah.
Truly's
What you said really surprised me. I need to
what you
sit
said
with that
really
for a
surprised
minute.
me. I'm going to need to breathe for a second.
Yeah.
Right. Which is better than, wow, that was a yo-yo thing to say. That, right, then you're pinging back and forth in the thing, and he's not regulated, you're not regulated,
Right.
and this is the whole thing. So right, if you really need to, you can suddenly have to pee. Like, I'm gonna be right back. I'll answer you in a minute, right? So figure out what you need to do to take a break.
Okay.
Right, because you need to. It's that thing, the titration. You gotta walk away.
Okay. Now I'm
Right,
breathing.
and okay, and we're gonna take a breath, and maybe you're gonna respond to him as if, you know, he's that kindergarten class, like, wow, Uncle Clive, I'm not sure how I feel about that. Right? That lower voice.
I'm
like,
going to have to think about that for a minute.
Yeah. Wow. Curiosity is so powerful because we're humans and we want to be curious all the time. And so
Patricia talks about that all the time. Be curious, not conclusionary.
that's right. So wow, Uncle Clive, what made you say
Would you
that?
talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah. Yeah. Could you? Wow. Or right, there's always the classic, Uncle Clive, you have some potato salad right there. You want to get that?
That's an amazing way to slow down.
But it's gonna work. Yeah. If you have to, if you really can't get anywhere and you need tools. So one of the greatest things, one of the things that I enjoy anyway, is if everybody who wants to and is able can just push your hands out as far as you can, like just really push.
Jazz hands.
Yeah, jazz hands. Feel it all the
Press
way
down
down your
jazz
elbow,
hands.
and leave it there for a sec, and then just let it go. But actually feel what it feels like in your core when you let it go.
So I could do that under the table too.
You could do it under the table if you needed to, yeah. Right? And so you're just gonna, oh.
Yeah, that is an amazing.
I love that one.
Yeah.
So simple.
It's
Can
so
I
simple.
just add, the thing I love most about it is that we kind of do that. Us hand talkers, we kind of already do that. We know it. Our body knows to do this. So we can intentionally activate it.
Yes. There's another, if you're super activated, you can give yourself a hug, put one hand under your armpit and the other one over your shoulder. And why one hand has to be under your armpit, I don't know, but it does work better.
Well, Uncle Clive, that's quite a statement.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Wow, Uncle Clive, I right.
Never thought
Just
about
sort
it
of-
that way.
Yeah. Yeah. So just reminding yourself, oh, I'm all here. I'm a human.
That's interesting. Yeah.
Right? I'm me.
Does that not give somebody a closed off message?
It might, and maybe
Okay.
that's okay, right?
Maybe you
that's
need some
safe-
boundaries.
Safety for you. Yeah.
Somebody said in the chat, it feels like we can never offend and have to do all of the emotional work at the expense of hitting any of their triggers, and it gets exhausting. And Sarah, you're exactly right. It is super exhausting. And so maybe looking closed off for a second is kind of okay. Y'all, I want to do this for another hour, but I'm mindful that we're close to time. We're going to go a little bit over tonight, you guys. But we still want to cover the bookshelf. We want to move on to closing us out for tonight. But I think I want to ask Patricia and Hillary in particular, like, if there's either a question that you're leaving with or something that you want folks to remember, what from this conversation, what would it be?
I'm going to go back to my favorite value. You can ask for the speed that you need. And what Hillary has given me over the course of these conversations is the breath moment, right? So something horrible kind of triggers me. I have to physically do so. I'm reminded of, I have a handicapped dog who shakes a lot when she gets freaked out. And it's like resettling her skin. And so like these hand gestures and the take a breath and the, like, for me, that's the thing that allows me to do this political work. Hillary, do you have? thoughts, feelings,
I
reflections?
really think it's important that because we are so trained to not remember that we have a delicate nervous system.
Mhm.
And we do. We have a delicate, we all have it. Like, you know, Arnold Schwarzenegger has a nervous system that's just as delicate as mine,
Mhm.
right? And so we need to care for it. And I think that's just so important.
Mm.
Um,
I think mine is going to be that nervous system neurons move at 80 miles an hour and the brain moves at 4. Like I've done a lot of work around being able to listen to my body, especially in like difficult conversations, difficult relationships, different rooms. But that sort of it gives me a number to the urgency of why that breath and checking in with the ouch matters to being able to sit with it and push through it and not have the ouch actually cause more harm.
I mean, this is a marathon and not a race.
Yes.
That we have to care for our bodies as we do this work, one kitchen table conversation at a time.
Mhm.
How do we do that without feeling so deeply triggered that we have to spend too much time in recovery? Like, how
Mhm.
can we care for ourselves
Mhm.
in that moment?
Mhm.
Cool. Are we ready to go
Oh.
on to the bookshelf?
No, I want to do this forever, but yes.
Okay. I'm going to share my screen again. One moment, please. There's Hillary. So one of the things we put on the bookshelf was these wonderful somatic therapy coping skills cards. And we got Hillary's seal of approval. She does not know this author, but the cards are just beautiful. And they're lovely little exercises you can pull out if you want to like start to dip in without feeling like you need to read a whole treatise on somatic therapy. So that's the bookshelf. Anybody have any comments on the bookshelf before I move on?
Just pointing folks to the link, the bookshelf, tinyurl.com/move-the-needle-books. All of the books that we've talked about before, including a couple that we would have referenced tonight, like Resmaa Menacem's My Grandmother's Hands, and what was his more recent one, Truly, please? Do you remember?
I am blanking on oh wait, I've got it pulled up here. The Quaking of America, an
The
embodied
Quaking of
guide
America.
to navigating our nation's upheaval and racial reckoning. But there's a
Thank you.
quick exercise from it in the chat.
Yes, there's that. So we are excited about these cards, but if you'd like to take a look at the big bookshelf, that's there too. Thank you.
And next week,
We're coming back to stories, y'all. Now that we've done all of this work about what it means to like lock in, stay in, navigate this comfort and safety, not that we'll ever be entirely done with this conversation. And I'm already thinking about things that I want to bring into next week, but we're going to come back to stories, especially as a way of pausing rather than continuing talking about policy, rather than continuing talking about like vote down ballot, flip your ballot, do all the votes. Rather than talking about all of that, we can return to what it is that connects us, which is our stories, So we're going to come back to storytelling part 2.
and if you would like to help us defray our costs and appreciate our time and labor and experience, please feel free to make a contribution at any level. You can Venmo me at Patricia-Berry, BERRY-38. That's my Venmo handle. And you can use Zelle to hit me up at patricia@patricia-berry.com. There's also a Cash App link. Salty Fundraiser is my Cash App handle. And contributions are welcome. We do this as a labor of love, but there are a number of infrastructure costs as well as just keeping us fed and clothed on a regular basis.
Not that you're responsible for feeding and clothing us, but if you would like to acknowledge the work that we're doing tonight, we always appreciate it.
Jess
And we
always
read all
brings
the
it back
notes.
to the generous side. I'm like,
well, and we read the notes that come along with it. And my favorite one was one that was like, okay, well, I'm in East Lansing, but I love what you guys are doing. And for folks that aren't from Michigan, East Lansing and Ann Arbor have a beef. So please send notes too if you're sending dollars. To be fair, we like the notes more.
every time we get a contribution, it just goes around all of us with a really happy sigh, because it means that you care about this work too.
Mhm.
So that draws us to a close. We are just very little over time, and I'm quite proud of us because Hillary, I'm sorry, you're a very compelling human.
Yeah.
And
So
Microsoft
thank
Word
you, Hillary. You have really made this so much fun for us. And thank you all for coming to this great conversation. It's really just all of us, it's feeding our lives. So move the needle. You can contact us via email at movetheneedle2024@patricia-berry.com. And you can find us here Sundays, 8:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 p.m. Pacific. Did I space Pacific?
You did. I shouldn't have messed with you that
Pacific.
time.
Now I'm going to screw it up.
I
We're
know.
usually on Zoom, though we're not on Zoom, or not on Zoom. We're usually on Instagram, though we're not on Instagram tonight. But we will be every time in the future. And what is our going out song? I don't know that we have one.
You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here.
You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here.
Closing time.